Hello everyone, and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel where hot rodding and romance do coexist. I'm your host, Prince Magnum. Welcome to Shades of Romance. In today's episode of Shades of Romance, I know some of you guys out there said, I wish, I'd like to learn some cool cooking skills and things like that. Well, this is going to be one of those times that I'm going to share some cool tips that you guys can start utilizing to kind of move in the right direction, and it'll help you guys out, as you begin your journey learning how to cook. Because, for me, when I started off learning how to really cook, it's one of those things that I had to look at TV shows. I had resources available to me, and currently at this point, I'd like to think that this channel does provide some good, solid resources if you want to learn how to begin cooking. Of course, we try to do entertainment, comedy, and so many other things on this channel. Primarily, we've always been a DIY channel that presents a message of hope. But in the world of romance, if you're going to attempt to learn how to do dinner for two, it doesn't hurt to learn some cool skills. And these are some of these cool kitchen skills that you guys can utilize when you're doing that dinner for two. All right? Let's start off with a real simple, easy one. In the past, on the previous romance series, and then, in some live streams, things like that, I've made this kind of coffee syrup that I can use to make iced coffee or to sweeten coffee with, and it turns out great. Don't get me wrong. It's wonderful, but I've always used to make that syrup a vanilla extract, and I always kind of felt like I could do a much better job if I had something a little bit more natural. Well, after doing a little bit of research, came across an old world secret. Now, this is an old world secret. But if you will, I've got a thing of just regular granulated sugar. Brand doesn't matter, okay? Regular granulated sugar, all right? I'm gonna take the top off this bad boy, and this is a container that I bought, filled it with sugar. Here we go, all right? This is an actual vanilla bean, okay? We're gonna breach containment. Yeah, this is an actual vanilla bean right here. Now you'll notice it feels like kind of oily and waxy, and that has all to do with a lot of the actual vanillin, the active ingredient that brings on the true vanilla flavor. Which, for the record, if you know anything about the vanilla, it is anything but boring. The vanilla bean is anything but boring. Because to fully understand it, This little bean here actually comes from a flower that is very finicky. You have to almost, there's people who have to pollinate it by hand, or it's a certain bee that does it, and it only grows a certain time of year. This is very, very exotic, a truly exotic flavor if you know anything about it. But what we do is we take our vanilla bean and just kind of push it without tearing it apart. Push it down into the sugar, right, like that. Kind of cover it up the best you can. But we'll push it down into the sugar, right, like that. All right. Now, in about a week or two, this sugar kept sealed up right like this, and just kept just like this in its container. Whoop-de-doo. This will take on a nice vanilla flavor. Now I no longer have to use vanilla extract when I go to make my coffee, my vanilla flavored coffee syrup. And there might actually be some baby boomers, or that generation between my generation, Generation X, and the baby boomers, who might actually remember doing this. But yeah, this is an old world secret, I guess you could say, for a lot of people. They used to basically make vanilla flavored sugar, and now I have something really cool that I can use later on in, as we continue to take this romance series forward. If I need anything vanilla flavored, that's it. All right, let's get on with the next cool secret. A lot of you have all seen me use garlic, and I mean, you guys have seen me use a lot of garlic over the years. And garlic is heart healthy, and it's one of those things that if a doctor hears that you're eating a lot of garlic and that sort of thing, he's usually on board, because it's good for the heart. I mean, it's just good for you, okay? Well, cracking these little guys and getting them chopped up fine and all that can be a pain in the butt, okay? And I have tried methods of all sizes and shape, okay? And it's just one of those things that it's just not easy. I mean, the way it's shaped, and then you got that skin on it, pain in the butt. Now, a couple of ways that I found to get the skin off is I can peel it from the bowl and just sit there and rub it over a trash can, and the skin just kind of falls off most of the time. Sometimes that's easier said than done, but this one doesn't. But if it does have it on there, well, let me introduce you to the best garlic prep device I've got. A cutting board and a dough blade, okay? Now, bakers are very familiar with this device, but it does more than just work in a bakery, okay? And it's a cool tool that I definitely recommend that you can go just about anywhere and get one of these for like maybe a couple of dollars, okay? Good stainless steel construction. This thing does a lot of jobs in the kitchen. But what you do is you take the flat of the blade and put it down on the cut, put the garlic here on top of the cutting board, put the flat down, and just press down, okay? And then you've already got a cutting edge, and just like that, chopped fine, and now ready to go, okay? Just like that. And you can just scoot that up on the blade and drop it in a bowl for later. More on the bowls here in just a bit, okay? Again, real simple. Now in videos, you guys have seen me do this, make jokes like this and go, no mercy, right? We've all done that, That's real funny to me, but you don't have to be, like that. It's funny to do on camera, but you don't have to do that. It's real simple, just like that. Which, of course, for a video that I'm getting ready to do after this video, and depending on when you guys will see it, will depend on, if you will. But yeah, I've got another video to do after this one. So I guess you could say I'm kind of showing you behind the scenes. Ooh, anyhow, so again, just press down, a little bit of body weight. Doesn't take much. Now, if you have a skin that's hanging on real heavy, when you go to press down, a lot of times the skin will just pop right off. You could just flake that off and throw it in the trash. But that's a real easy one. I think this one might still have a little bit of skin left to kind of show you. Yeah, and it'll just pop right off. You got a skin that's being stubborn, just do it that way. It's real simple, real easy to deal with. Okay? Also, when working with sharp edges, wood or plastic, never metal, and don't. I've seen some people do it on, use a knife or something like that on a cutting. Don't do that. Okay? Sharp edges do not like that sort of stuff. Okay? Which is going to bring me to the next part of this particular video. Let me typical. I'm always misplacing stuff. Alrighty. Now, granted that I have knives, kitchen knives of all sizes and shapes, but really you only need 3 in the kitchen, and that's really a paring knife like this, which this has a cover on it. Put the other ones down and show them without the cover on. Just a paring knife, right like this, and keep the cover on it to keep it from, from getting banged around. Kind of a kitchen utility knife, okay, and again, came with the cover, and just a 8 to 10 inch chef's knife, and you'll find that all 3 of these knives will do everything you pretty well need as far as cutting in the kitchen. Of course, there's about a million other devices that you should definitely keep on hand, but by and large, you'll find that that's really all you need. Now, which now brings us to the next segment. I've got here a lemon, okay? And I know there's some recipes out there that call for lemon juice. And I've seen people go and buy those stupid little yellow plastic containers that look like a lemon, but the lemon juice inside of there is wretched. It tastes horrible, okay? I've tried and tried and tried to make food taste good with that stuff, and it never does, okay? So, your best bet, these are cheap, and the device that I'm about to show you is also pretty dang cheap. A juicer. Okay? Now, in the past, let me get my paring knife out. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and go with the kitchen utility knife, okay? But, in the past, I've always found, that, when I needed it quick, I just slice the lemon and squeeze it directly in the pan. And that's fine and all, okay? That there's nothing wrong with that. But there are times that the seeds of the lemon will get right inside of what I'm cooking, and seeds can make food taste bitter. So, what a guy like me has come to the conclusion of, that I still get my hand exercises by splitting this lemon, taking my juicer, and just wringing that sucker out, okay? Right like that, okay? Discard the waste, and do it again. If you got a real juicy lemon, that's nice. Except that it gets everywhere. I don't have any cool secrets on how to prevent that. There you go. And we have all the citrus goodness that we're going to need captured in here. Now, if you have to do multiples, I definitely recommend getting a bigger juicer at that point, okay? But this one's just a cool, simple one because I usually don't need more than a couple at a time. And right into the container it goes, and I can set this off to be washed later. So now, I have fresh squeezed lemon juice ready to go. And again, when I'm doing my videos, you guys see me use custard cups and little dishes like this. Now this brings me to, it doesn't matter the brand, okay? Having something like this and getting your ingredients together long before you get to the actual cooking process does make cooking a whole lot easier, okay? Folks, I can't stress this enough. There's a particular chef, one of my all-time favorites, Alton Brown, who has done, I mean, numerous TV shows for Food Network. He always talks about mise en place, French for everything in its place. And even in one, he said, "Organization will set me free." And, you know, repeat after me: "Organization will set me free." I'm not up to speed on my trivia on which episode, at what point, and all that other stuff. But he's right, okay? This is why a lot of times you'll see on cooking shows, and even this one as well, you'll see where we have everything pre-measured, long before we get to the point where we're actually cooking, all right? Again, there's a reason for that. It makes the cooking process go a whole lot more smoother, because now you're not running around trying to find everything, and it's right there. It's all pre-measured. All you got to do is take it and rock and roll. All right. So, taking tips from the TV shows and even some, and I had to do it too. I had to learn that little tip. Get everything together long before you get to this point. All right. So that's pretty much some cool tips that you guys can use to help you the next time you guys decide to try your hand at being a cook for your sweetheart. All right. And just some DIY tips that'll help you along the way. All righty. So that does bring us to the spot where we got to pay the bills. All right. Really quick. Get on over to Patreon. $1 a month. It goes back into doing projects here on the channel, whether it's here in the kitchen or out there on the cars. So $1 a month is really all we ask. And eventually, one of these days, whenever I have a free frickin' moment, I'll be able to actually, make it worth a little bit more of your while. However, if you have been putting into the channel for a long time, through Patreon, I try to keep up with that, go through and look at comments and things like that, and kind of, help along with that, so it's like my way of thanking you. I'll take some of your comments and try to turn it into some sort of video. So that's my way of giving back. All right. That's the best I got right now. We operate on a tight budget. But anyhow, along with that, we've got merchandise. Get over to Teespring and check those out. Links are already in the About section of the channel's page. And of course, I try to remember to leave the links to those sites in the comments, in the creators section below. Does anybody even look at that? Anyhow, alrighty. So along with that brings bills are now paid. Let's get on to the usual outro, which brings me to say, get out there and work on a project. Don't care what it is, just do something with yourselves. Remember, idle hands and a creative mind go together like oil and water. If you've got a sweetheart, sweep them off their feet. Do something special for them. Please, do something special for them today. As always, for every last one of you out there, if no one out there has told you that they love you today, Prince Magnum does. God bless you, and have a happy 24. Thank you.